You're not crazy. You just woke up first. You haven't lost your mind. You simply realized earlier than most that the life you're living isn't truly yours. You keep going. You wake up, reply to messages, do what's expected of you. But somewhere along the way, something inside you shut down and no one noticed. On the outside, everything still works. On the inside, there's a quiet, persistent emptiness. Not dramatic, not tragic, just unsettling, like a low-frequency noise that never turns off. You're not exactly sad, but you no longer feel like you belong to this story. If you stay until the end of this video, you'll understand exactly where you are in this process, and why fighting it is only making everything slower, heavier, and more painful than it needs to be. What you're experiencing is not a bad phase. It's not burnout. It's not a lack of gratitude. It's a spiritual rupture, a one-way path. And once it begins, there is no return button. What almost no one tells you is that this process follows a silent order, 5 invisible stages, and when you fail to recognize them, you don't awaken. You get lost inside your own awakening. Instead of crossing through, you keep trying to fix what was never meant to survive. Everything starts here. Phase 1, the collapse of the character. When the life you knew begins to dissolve, no one calls this awakening. They call it bad luck, failure, a wrong turn, a midlife crisis, bad karma. But that's not what it is. In this phase, life doesn't attack you from the outside. It dissolves you from within. Everything that once defined you, career, status, roles, labels, ambitions, starts losing weight, color, meaning. What once gave you identity now feels hollow, mechanical, almost absurd. You try to reignite motivation. You repeat old formulas. You attempt to go back to who you were, and you fail, again and again. Because this phase isn't here to improve you. It's here to dismantle you, to slowly or violently remove the character you've been playing for years. And in the silence between attempts, a terrifying question emerges. If all of this falls apart, what's left of me? Few accept this loss. Most try to rebuild the same identity with new language. Now I'm evolved. Now I'm spiritual. Now I know myself. But underneath, the fear is the same. The fear of being nobody. This is where the process gets stuck for most people. Phase 2, the intoxicating light. After the breakdown, something seductive appears. Expansion, a strange relief, a sense that things finally make sense, signs, synchronicities, powerful intuitions, a subtle euphoria of feeling connected. This is where many believe they've arrived. But they haven't, they've only reached the entrance. Yes, awareness expands, but the ego quietly claims the experience. You begin identifying with the light, with the insight, with the feeling of being ahead of others. Without realizing it, you create a new mask, the awakened one, the spiritual one, the conscious one. The mistake happens here, confusing expanded perception with spiritual maturity, replacing old vanity with enlightened vanity, believing that more energy automatically means more truth. When this lasts too long, life intervenes, and it's rarely gentle. Because if you remain here, spirituality becomes escape. Awakening turns into fantasy, and to break that illusion, the light has to be taken away. Phase 3, the dark night of consciousness. Here, the light disappears, motivation evaporates, spiritual practices lose their flavor, beautiful words feel empty, nothing satisfies, nothing fits, nothing answers. You don't want to return to your old life, but you can't see a way forward. You may think you've gone too far, that you broke something inside yourself, that you crossed a point of no return, but this is not failure, it's disintegration. Everything non-essential is being stripped away, beliefs, expectations, identities, including spiritual ones. Anything that made you feel special begins to collapse. Here most people run. They run into screens, into overwork, into stimulation, into numb routines, anything to avoid facing the void. Few stay, because crossing the void demands something the ego cannot do: remain without meaning, breathe without answers, exist without promises. If you're still listening, hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are being reduced to what is real. Anything that can be taken from you was never you. Phase 4. The invisible rooting. There's no announcement, no cinematic breakthrough, no spiritual fireworks. One day, something simply stabilizes. Not ecstasy, not forced happiness. A grounded calm, independent of circumstances. You stop chasing explanations. You stop trying to define yourself endlessly. You stop negotiating with life as if it owes you certainty. Emotional reactions soften. Choices become simple. Intuition turns into a compass, not a performance. Some relationships fall away without drama. Others arrive effortlessly, without you having to beg for connection. There's no spectacle here, but there is solidity. The ego isn't destroyed, it's dethroned. It becomes a tool, not an identity. Useful, but no longer sacred. You stop protecting an image. You begin living from a quiet internal axis that doesn't need validation. Phase 5. The shadow integration. Here things flow, but you see the cracks in the flow. Nothing is fully light. Nothing is fully dark. You stop romanticizing spirituality and stop demonizing the material world. Things simply are. You no longer try to manifest compulsively. You align, and life responds not to your desire, but to your coherence. What arrives, arrives aligned. What leaves, leaves without inner drama. You don't live in euphoria. You live in presence, and presence isn't always comfortable. It's honest. There's something unsettling about this. Your stability disturbs those still running from themselves. Your clarity feels cold to those who mistake intensity for truth. Few reach this point, not because they're special, but because few are willing to cross the void without lying to themselves. Now be radically honest. Are you in collapse, in expansion, or lost in the dark night? Write it in the comments. Someone will read it, silently, and realize they're not alone. This channel doesn't exist to comfort you. It exists to remind those who refuse to fall asleep again, even when waking up hurts. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you feel trapped in the dark night and need real direction, the pinned link is not content. It's a map. Ignore it, or cross. Either way, the choice has already begun.